Well, welcome to another video with theplayersaid.com. My name is Grant. I'm here today with a couple of special guests. Very excited to sit down and talk to both of you. Dave Stiffler, you've been a developer on many games with the Battles of the American Revolution series, right?
Well, in the tri-pack, the first tri-pack,
Yeah.
Mark, but Rob McCracken is the primary developer for regular boar.
Okay. But you've learned some things, and now you love to play the game as well. You're here every year doing the tournaments, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As you just saw, I'm running it for Mark Miklos this year. We
Yep.
miss you, Mark. Go
We
to
do
Malta,
miss Mark.
be selfish, that's fine. But yes.
And then also this year we have Bruno Sinigaglio with us. And here, I'm going to hand you the mic, Bruno. So you're designing, I know, a new small bore series, small battles, Cowpens, right?
Correct.
So how's that going for you right now?
It's going well. We're finished development. We're just ironing out the minor bugs, and we're ready to go to P500.
Okay. So tell us the story behind you doing that game. How did you come to do that one? I know you're also a devotee of the system.
Yes. Well, I love the system. It's fun. You could play many battles, but there were critical battles in the Revolutionary War, of which Cowpens is the most critical battle in the South, that you can't play in regular boar because each side would only have like 2 units.
Right.
So I just had the idea, and I presented it to Mark a while ago, and I reduced the scale by an eighth. Everything is 1/8.
Okay.
The hexes go from 200 to 25 yards. The units go from 100 men per strength point to 12.
Okay.
And then everything is exactly scaled the same. The difference being that in boar, a rifle shoots 1 hex, 200 yards. In Cowpens, it shoots 8 hexes.
Okay.
And the muskets are then in the game. They're built into the close combat in boar. But in Cowpens, at 25 yards, or 80 was the maximum that a musket wanted to shoot, they can actually shoot. So we just needed to play test it for a while and get it to work.
Okay.
And that's essentially what we've done.
So how many counters does each side have in a battle like Cowpens?
Approximately the same as you would have in a boar, well, a lot more than a boar battle.
Okay.
But the British have, if you ask Dave a question, I'll think of the totals and let you know.
Well, the neat thing that, like Bruno was saying, with the fire, now you have a lot more fire.
Yep.
Because before it's abstracted, you get rifle fire as a separate unit, but the close combat simulates the fire that Bruno's talking about. So now you get rifle fire at longer range, you get musket fire at shorter range, you get penalized if you have mixed units in the hex, so you use the musket table, which is much harder to hit, right, is one might think. Have you thought of it yet?
Yes. So the Americans are camped on the battlefield in the line that they're going to fight in. And the skirmishers there are 10 companies of skirmishers.
Okay.
They're small, 1 to 3 combat factors. These are all elite troops, even though they're skirmishers. They can shoot well. So they're up in the front, and they're not afraid of cavalry.
Okay.
So they fight in open order, and they hide behind trees and stuff like that and pick off the cavalrymen. They're there just to prevent the British from storming the militia line and cause trouble. And they peel off 5 companies to the right, 5 companies to the left, historically. And then the British see the militia line, which is 18 companies of militia.
Okay.
They're all equipped with rifles. But it's best if they wait until the range is short. They do a greater chance to hit.
Better DRMs the closer.
Yeah. And so once the British caused the militia line to break, which was planned, Morgan said he wanted them to fire 3 shots and then run in a specific configuration and reform on the flanks of the main line. They only got, there were 4 battalions. 1 battalion, Brandon, got 2 shots off. All the rest only got 1.
Okay.
Because the British doctrine for dealing with rifles was to charge at full speed with bayonets.
Okay.
So they couldn't reload.
Yeah, you close the 75 yards and charge.
Got it.
And so
Well, and that makes it hard to reload too when you're being charged by
bayonets, because the rifles don't have bayonets.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when the British broke the skirmisher line and the militia line, they thought they won the battle. Because the way the slight slope of the ground was, they could not see the main line with 5 companies of Continentals.
Okay.
And when they saw them, they were shocked.
Yeah.
And they stopped and reorganized. And on the main line are 5 companies of Continentals, including Delaware Blues, which was the best unit in the entire Revolutionary War.
Okay.
So, and of course, when the British saw them, they concentrated their fire on them because they hated them. Mm-hmm. If they could break them, they were sure the American line would break. So they took more casualties than any of the Continentals. There were 5 companies of Continentals and about 6 to 8 companies of militia, smaller but proven. And the British had they had 8 companies of Highlanders, which were elite units. They had 4 companies of regulars, the 7th Foot. They had 6 companies of the American Legion Infantry. And they had 4 companies of lights, 3 which were elite. That was all the infantry. And then, of course, they had Tarleton's cavalry, 250 cavalry, 6 companies. And that's the order of battle.
Okay.
You want to talk about the Loyalist cavalry?
Say that
You
again.
want to talk about the Loyalist cavalry?
Yes, that would be. There were 5 companies of Loyalists and 1 company of British regular cavalry.
Okay.
3 of the companies of Loyalist cavalry were made up of a great deal of Americans that came off of prison ships, and they offered them the opportunity to either be in Tarleton's cavalry or stay on the prison ships. So they took that opportunity.
Yeah,
Because, it was death. Interestingly, the majority of them were from the Delaware Blues.
Oh, okay.
And they told Tarleton ahead of time, yeah, we'll fight for you, but we're not fighting against the Delaware Blues. And when they saw the Delaware Blues, they deserted. So it's all built into the game.
Nice, nice.
There's a lot of history.
Yeah, yeah.
We've really beat the history to death on this
Okay.
one. It's a small battle. We can really build the history into it
Yeah.
with cards. There are 52 cards, 26 beneficial for the British, 26 beneficial for the Americans, and it throws the history in.
Okay.
So it plays fast.
Yeah. How long does it play?
2 hours.
2
max.
hours. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
3, maybe.
Certainly, if you're a new player, 3.
All right.
Or less if you're a new player, because you stick your neck out
And you get.
and you get cleaned
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Okay.
So-
well, I know that lots of people that like Boar will love this. It's just a different system, right? A little quicker playing, a little smaller, different scale.
Same
like we
exact
talked-
system.
Yeah, same
With
system.
chrome.
Yeah, with chrome.
So
Yeah.
the militia line, when it leaves, runs to regroup areas. And they have to run there, and they rally to regroup, and then they come back into the fight.
Okay.
So it's we've tried to put the history in.
Yeah. Do you guys have any idea when it's going to be announced on the P500 by GMT?
September.
Okay, September, so soon.
We think.
What do you think?
Not valid on all states. Your mileage may vary.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that one will be one that makes the number fairly quickly. How much development do you guys still have to do, you think?
None.
None? Okay.
Just proofreading.
Got it.
That's it.
As a
And
matter
then
of fact,
final art, probably.
Yeah, and GMT will do the final art.
Yeah.
that's right. And when we're done here, we'll have a set of series rules, because there are other games, that are kind of in light
Okay.
progress, right? Hubbardton and Bennington, Curtis Falk is working on that, right? And then Rob McCracken is going to work on Cooch's Bridge, the only battle fought in Delaware.
Okay.
He's from Delaware, so
Yeah,
Rob
makes sense.
He lives like 10 minutes from the battlefield, right? It works out very nicely. The other thing Bruno's done in this new game series is in regular boar, you can get disrupted, you can get shattered, you can take step losses, but In this battle, in particular, because you were taking rifle fire at such close range, now you might get shocked.
Okay.
So you might recoil, and that might reduce your movement factors next turn. It might reduce all of your movement factors next turn. There's a chance to take 2 hits from the fire. There's also a chance with what's the other one I'm missing? Shattered. You could be shattered just from the get start, and what's the one Army morale?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember.
We took this right out of the history book. We used the words, and then we invented a rule to go along with it.
Okay.
But there is a chance that you can get shot and, oh, wow, it didn't hit me, and your morale will go up.
Oh, okay.
1 chance in 100. So it
not
happens.
very likely.
It happens.
That does
though.
happen.
But,
has
you know,
happened in playtesting.
it's unexpected.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good to hear some of the other battles that are being considered. What about something like Camden, also in South Carolina?
Yeah.
Near Cap. Is
Mark's
that one
thinking,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
Trenton and Princeton.
Okay. Nice. Those will be good ones.
And so the sequence of play is a little different in this because you have the normal rally phase, and then movement, fire, close combat, and then during the rally phase you can put cavalry units in reserve, and then there's a reserve phase at the end, and they can move and attack, which is what their exploitation was, and you could do that in a small unit battle.
Okay.
And of course, Tarleton was feared. His cavalry was greatly feared. But the reason the Americans didn't run in this battle is because they really hated Tarleton, one of the most hated British. Well, the other dude is 2 guys that were extremely hated. Tarleton and Simcoe.
Yes.
Simcoe.
They were so hated that when they surrender at Yorktown happened, Washington said everyone has to be surrendered. And Cornwallis said a note, we can't surrender Simcoe and Tarleton because they'll hang them. So Washington gave them permission to evacuate their wounded by ship, and Tarleton and Simcoe were on their ships. So in the movie with Mel Gibson, Tarleton is a composite. That guy's he's a composite. They just should have used the real guy. But they wanted to kill him in the movie, so that's what they did.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I appreciate the history. I appreciate the talk about some of the mechanics and some of the different changes, which sounds great. Anything else you guys want to say about
The map.
Oh, so the map is as close as we can possibly get it to historically accurate. I and Mark spent a full 8 hours on the battlefield about 2.5 years ago, within a week of when the actual battle happened. So the terrain, the trees were all about the same.
The water.
The water, we actually were splashing down we found some of the remaining areas of swampy land, which to this day is still swampy. Interestingly enough, the 2 old guys are tromping through the swamp, and Mark's up on the road going, a little to the left, lads. So, we'll hold that against them for a moment. But yeah, it's interesting if you're on the battlefield, like Bruno talked about, it's relatively flat. And there's just enough of a gentle rise and you can still see it to this day. There's a terrain feature known as Hayes Rise. That's where Hayes was on the battlefield. It's only maybe 8 or 9 feet tall. But it's tall enough that you can't see the Continentals behind, right?
That's great.
So even Tarleton in the saddle couldn't see the American line up at the far end. So I think the map is about as close as you're going to see to just really historically accurate.
We walked it 3 times in various directions.
Okay.
And Dave tried to get through the cane break, which is bamboo.
Yeah, pretty tough stuff.
Okay, so bamboo is impassable. But Dave tried to go through it. It was cool.
Yeah,
You came back though.
Well, they've actually got a stand of canebrake growing down there, right? They're kind of trying to put some in where it was historically. So, in our game, the canebrake is essentially impassable because you couldn't take a formation through there and maintain any fighting order or discipline, which is one of the reasons why it took the British so long to uncork their line, because on the left flank it was all swamp and canebrake.
Yeah, interesting.
And nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. Well, hey, I don't want to take much more of your time. I know you guys are in the midst of a tournament. I wish both of you luck. I know you're probably both alive in the tournament, right?
Yep, that's true.
Well, I do appreciate it, and I think small bore is a great-looking system. Very much looking forward to trying that one out here and whenever it is. So thanks for your time, Bruno and Dave, and Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been Grant for the Players Aid.